Hello everyone, I'm Brian, welcome back, let's go ahead and continue.
Sadhguru, I can proudly say that I am in the top institute of eminence, which we now call heaven. And every student who has come here has burnt himself inside out to come to this place. And that can be said about each and every institute in India. And after coming to this heaven also, our days and nights are same, working very hard to achieve the so-called aim. I want to know, but still, our careers are not assured. We don't know about our career. And we don't know whether our luxurious life of our dreams, whether we will ever achieve. Now, when we say about the other aspect, seeing the politicians, most of them, and rich criminals, most of them, at least almost fifth pass, not more than that. But they and their dependents, all having a assured career.
But they don't go to Canada, they go to London.
Yeah. They go to London, yeah. And citizenship of London is assured, and at the same time, they are having best of luxuries. So my point is, education and working day and night hard for it, is it worth for this society where we have poorer graduates and richer illiterates?
Well, we must understand, literacy is on many different levels.
I just want to pause real quick, because I have no idea what it's asking. It seems like it's saying that criminals graduate and become richer, while everyone else, in a sense, kind of suffer or are not graduating or not going to college or not making it into this college because the criminals are finding ways to get in without, merit, I suppose. Is that the question?
ABC is one kind of literacy. On the street, there is another kind of literacy. In the political sphere, another kind of literacy. In the business world, another kind of literacy. So literacy is not just ABCD. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Somebody may not know ABC, but he is very literate with something else. And above all, you come to an Indian Institute of Technology, not for a luxurious life, because of thirst for knowledge, to know, to become competent, to be able to create something, to be able to create something in the world which has not been done till now. Not to somehow amass something at somebody's cost and live somewhere, wherever you think is luxurious. Look at their faces and see. Do they look joyful? Well, they look like they've been fed like pigs, that you can see. But do they look joyful? Do they look fulfilled? Is there some great energy about them? Do you want to live a life like that? Hello? Do you want to live a life like that? I'm asking, please don't ever seek a life like that, because all you have in this life is, as I already said in the very beginning, this is just a certain amount of time. Time is going away. Since you sat here, you are about 35 minutes or more than that, an hour closer to your grave right now. You know this? Since you came here. Yes, all of us, yes or no? Mortality is one thing that we have forgotten, that is why we are thinking of all these funny things. Life is just going away. If this sank into you, actually minute by minute, you're closer to your grave, it's going to be over. So what will be the most important thing? How profound is your experience of life? And when it comes to activity, how profoundly can you touch life around you? This is all that matters, isn't it? Your experience of life is profound. When you sit here, in your experience, this is the most profound experience, because this is all that matters, the intensity and profoundness of your experience. When it comes to activity, what a difference can you make? You may not be thinking like that right now, but think through this. Suppose you cook something. Do you ever?
Maggie.
He's on MSG or something, huh? No, not that MSG, I'm just… What is that chemical, huh? That's all…
Monosodium glutamate.
Yeah. So, if you cook something, even if you make Maggi noodles and you give it to your friend, he spits it out. Do you like it? If he eats and says, "This is fantastic," then you say, "Oh, nice." Because for even doing the 2-minute job, it's 2 minutes, right? The ad says it's 2 minutes, I don't know how long it takes, huh?
That's a myth, it's not 2 minutes.
Even for the 2-minute job, you want to touch that somebody's life. If that guy spat it out, that's the last time you're going to give him those noodles. That saves his life, that's another matter. So if you build something, let's say you built a hall, people look at this and say, "Oh my God, terrible," and nobody wants to come into this hall. You want to build such a hall? No, you want people to come and say, "Wow." Yes? You want to write a book that nobody reads? Huh? No? You want to make a movie that nobody wants to see? No. You want people to see and walk out with tears in their eyes? Yes or no? When you do something, you must understand this. Human activity is meaningful only in some way we touch another life. How many lives is the question? You heard of Richard Bach? No?
Oh, yeah.
As a generation, you never read Richard Bach?
No, never
Nobody?
mind. I heard of Bach,
I'm surprised.
a musician, I
In
think.
our generation, there was nobody who did not read Richard Bach. Please look him up. Richard Bach wrote a book called Illusions, another one called Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. It's all about flying, his entire life. I was supposed to fly with him 3 years ago, but at the age of 74, he was flying a small plane and he had an accident and broke some 16 bones in his body. So after that, he's not flying. So, his entire life was about flight and all his books are about flight and how flight relates to our life. And in one of the books he writes, of all the joys of flying, I thought this is… after that I stopped reading him. Of all the joys of flying that he eulogized all his life, he said the greatest joy is when you see another pilot and you roll your wings and he responds rolling his wings, that's the greatest joy. After living an absolutely adventurous life, this is the greatest joy because touching another life always is like that. Whether it's music or dance or cooking or writing a book or building something, everything is because it touches another life, it matters, isn't it? A criminal does not touch other people's life like that. You have 2 ways to live, that is, people are joyful because you're here, or people will be joyful because you're gone. There are 2 ways to live. Please, what will you choose?
First one.
He answered that one quickly.
People are joyful because you're here. Yes,
Yes.
that's good. So, about somebody is living better than us, I'm saying you should not even look how somebody is living because it's a bloody brief life, believe me. Before you know what's happening, it'll be gone. You may not think so right now, you think you have a lot of time on your hands. But if you intensely get involved in something, before you know what is happening, life will be gone. Because it's such a brief life. Have you noticed on a particular day, if you're very intense and joyfully involved in something, 24 hours just pass off like a minute? Is it so? Another day you're a little depressed and looking around at everybody. That day, 24 hours feel like a eon. So time is a very relative experience. Only miserable people will have a long life
Jeez.
because in misery, time stretches itself.
What a way to look at that. People who are miserable have a very long life. Wow, that's a terrible way of looking at it, but Sadhguru's not wrong. Because, when there's something that you're doing that you don't want to do, it's like, oh man, you keep looking at the clock, say, oh come on, do your work. It's like, oh my gosh, it's 1 minute past. It felt like I've been sitting there for 30 minutes. But when you're doing something fun, it's like, oh, we have 30 minutes left. Oh, it's time to go. 30 minutes is gone? Yeah, it's very true. Oh my gosh. It's really weird to think about it. Like, if you live a really, it's subjective, of course, that when you have people who are miserable have a really long life. But it's kind of funny though.
But if you're living an intense and exuberant life, poof, it'll be gone. 100 years will be gone like that. Shall I bless you with a long life? No. Even if you live to be 100, it should feel like you lived for 2 days. And that's how it will be. That is how it will be if you focus on creating something worthwhile. But if you're looking at other people, who is wearing better clothes, who is driving better car, whose house is better than mine, if you look at this, your life is ruined. Because forever, somebody will be wearing something better than you, somebody will be driving something better than you, somebody will be living in a better home than you. Yes or no? Forever, you will become enslaved to that nonsense. Don't ever start your life like that. All of you, you're being empowered through education. You must think in terms of, what is it that I can create? What can I create in this life? Don't worry about how to earn a living with so much education and this many cerebral cells. You think earning a living is a problem when an earthworm does it?
Okay, good, that's the end. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad. You look at it in a lot of the Western worlds or developed areas, I'll say. Again, I doubt it's something just strictly in the Western world, but it's very obvious there. But I think if you look at just well-developed areas, even in my birth country, I think you can see it. Again, just because of the three things that go away: food, water, and shelter. Once those three things are taken care of, there's this, I don't know what you call it, I don't want to say arrogance, but there's this thing that like, oh, now I have to live like that and that and that, and people are buying super expensive things because it's name brand or whatever. And then they'll never be happy because, one, either they can't keep up with the lifestyle and they become poor, they get angry because they're not getting paid more, and they believe they deserve more, and they believe they deserve to live like someone else is living. But yeah, man, I want to go back to what he was talking about earlier about, serving soup. If I were to serve soup to someone and they don't like it, I'll ask, why do you not like it? Because it could be just very simple. It's like, oh yeah, it's a little too salty. It's like, okay, you can just maybe have a little bit more water so that the broth is diluted a little bit and might taste better. And that's all you need to do to make a change. I'm not going to sit there, it's like, oh, you don't like it? Then I'm not going to serve it to you. It's like, no. For me, it's different. Like, obviously people have different taste and people like different things. Maybe they just don't like soup in general. It's not how you cooked it, it's just soup they don't like. And you just so happens like, here's soup. It's like, I don't like soup. So I learn what people like and dislike, and then I accommodate for that if I can. Obviously, I'm not going to go out of my way to accommodate it unless I want to. So if all I have is soup and they don't like soup, it's like, well, all I could afford is soup. So if you want soup, I guess you got to make sure you bring some food when you come over or whatever. Or, whenever we go out and eat, then we'll make sure to arrange a place that has soup and something not soup. So it's not that you like, oh, you offend me because you don't like my soup. No, it's never like that for me. It's more along the lines like, what's wrong with it? Maybe I did do something wrong, and maybe I can adjust because I'm not a chef. So, and even if I was a chef, I wouldn't think of it like, they were trying to be offensive or anything. It could something. Everyone has a different taste. Some people like bitter stuff, some people like sour stuff, some people like salty stuff. So if they don't like the soup that I make, I'll ask, is it just the soup? Is it too salty? Not salty enough? Etc. etc.
The Youth and Truth program has such wide and intense coverage nationally and internationally that social media has been buzzing and flooded with questions. We have the difficult job handpicking some of the questions. So, Sadhguru, with your permission, I'd like to convey their questions to you. So, one Pradeep asks, we are often reprimanded for using swear words. It is nowadays used as colloquial slang. What is the big deal with using slang words when I casually use it without intent?
See, this happened.
Real quick. I mean, it is not a profound question to ask Sadhguru. It's like, why does apples taste like apples and orange taste like orange? This is mind-boggling. But I get what I mean. It's a really weird question, but you know what? Why not ask Sadhguru? I mean, obviously, a lot of people tend to ask profound questions, but a lot of those questions end up being roughly the same because everyone kind of has the same question: what is the meaning of life? You know, how do I become happy? It's all roughly the same questions. Now, why does apple taste like apple and orange taste like orange? Now that is a question.
A nice Catholic girl got married and went. After 3 days, she called her mother and said, "Mama, I can't be here with this guy. All the time he's using four-letter words." Then the mother asked, "What kind of four-letter words is he using?" She said, "He's talking about cook, clean, wash, iron."
Clean's 5.
So, what is wrong in using words? Essentially, what you're calling as swear words is largely today, we have our own swear words, which are very generic to our languages, and some are vulgar, some suggest certain intentions, some refer to our families, and and some are just simply poking fun at each other, kind. But largely your swear words in English language that you use today are essentially picked up from America. It's either toilet or bedroom, okay?
I get it.
I must tell you this. This is way back, many years ago. A guest came from Australia. I'm talking about nearly 40 years ago. A guest came from Australia and I'm supposed to take this person around in Mysore. You know, Mysore is a touristy place. You're from Bangalore, huh? It's a touristy place, there are many places to see, so I'm taking this person on my motorcycle. If I ride hard, I hear in my ears, shit. Then I think, what? If I brake, shit. They see something beautiful, shit. If the food is very spicy, oh shit. I was thinking, why this person whole day chanting shit like mantra?
Maybe it is.
I thought maybe constipated, trying to invoke. Because what should be done in the morning, whole day, why are you dragging it through the day? You know? Then I observed, they're getting angry, shit, and they become little calm. Oh, then I thought, oh, it's working for them, I should not disturb this, because I don't believe in disturbing anything that's working for anybody. If it's working, let's leave it. So I just thought through this. See, we have looked at the whole science of uttering sounds in a powerful manner, what it can do to your consciousness, what it can do to your body, what it can do to invigorate your energy, many aspects of this. And then we say, Shiva. With the necessary preparation, if I make you utter this one sound, you don't have to believe in any god or anything, just the sound. It'll blow your brains out. I can show you this. Then I thought, shit, shit. Oh, we arrived at it scientifically, they somehow got it.
Wait, what?
Even in Shiva, it is only Shi which is the powerful part, Va is a dampener, so that people don't blow up too much. It's like to balance. Instead of va, they put T. I thought it's okay, it's working, so why? Because usually when they keep saying too often, the T doesn't come, they say shh. So even me, when I say Shiva, the word doesn't really come out, it's just shh. So I thought it's okay, what does it matter? Then immediately some people got this thing, Sadhguru, you are saying Shiva and shit are same? Highest and the lowest? I said, see, this high and low is all your business. But as far as your mind is concerned, in case your vocabulary is stored in an alphabetical order, Shiva and shit are close together. You cannot store Shiva here and shit here. You don't have such a capability. I don't know how it is stored in your mind. Suppose it's alphabetical, they are right next to each other, so you can't separate them. So the question is not about what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. The question is, will it work everywhere? If you keep shitting all over the place, is it going to work for you? That's a question. So it's all right among young people, you're saying shit everywhere, but now it's come to in United States, it's come. Even the top administrators are uttering these words just like that. In the international community, when they utter such words, it's finished in many ways, okay? Not because of anything else, simply because people are… if you watch some of these American movies and stuff and stand-up comedians, they are making the whole sentence with one word. Yes? Whole sentence is just one word repeated in many different ways, and they're elogizing that. I'm saying to develop or to evolve a complex language, it took such a long time, it's taken thousands of years for human mind. One of the most complicated things that we have come up with as civilizations in the world is language. Language is not a small thing. That way in India, we have 1,300 languages. How much genius must have been there that right here you speaking Marathi, somebody speaking Telugu, somebody speaking Kannada, somebody speaking Konkani, and for thousands of years, though you lived side by side, you maintained your literature, they maintained theirs, like this they managed. This takes a certain level of genius to develop the language. Now, a language which had hundreds and thousands of words, you want to reduce everything to one word and you think it's a forward step, I'm sorry.
I was gonna pause a little bit earlier, but I figured I'd let him finish. I do remember hearing somewhere, again, fact check this, but I've heard that when you curse, it's kind of like a relief, because there's much more intensity in curse words, I guess, and that when you start cursing just out loud, not at anyone in particular, it's like a valve that releases the pressure of whatever that you're mad at. It's not to get rid of your anger or anything like that, but at least I've heard that it reduces either stress, anger, or whatever it is, but not get rid of it. Maybe for some people it might get rid of it, just them screaming and yelling or whatever it may be, cursing, punching a pillow or whatever, just to relieve the whatever it may be. I get it, I guess. I mean, I don't really get mad too often, but whatever works, like Sadhguru says.
Sadhguru, my next question is about the 4 letters. Love is in the air. When…
Hey, what's happening out here?
When people say that they are in love, they think they are in unconditional love. But still, in most of the cases, it's not working. It doesn't lead to happiness. So Sadhguru, when is unconditional love truly possible?
Interesting question. When is unconditional love truly possible? Only after you've gone through a lot together. When you've gone through some really, really difficult times and are still together, I think at that point you can maybe say that. But outside of that, I don't think it's very possible, because to make something unconditional, everything's always conditional, I think. There's nothing that just becomes unconditional. There's nothing that just starts off unconditional. I think it all starts conditionally, then can develop to unconditional, but only becomes unconditional after some very, very difficult times. Truly difficult times, and you're still together and still love each other, then I think at that moment it becomes unconditional. Because if you've gone through the most difficult times, all the other times are going to be much easier than that difficult time, or those difficult times, however many difficult times there are. If we're able to go through difficult times and still be together, that's about the closest thing I can think of unconditional love.
When you say love,
Perhaps
your
maybe,
experience of love means you feel certain sweetness of emotion within yourself. Either by looking at this person or this person or this person, we don't know who stimulates this in you. It doesn't matter who helped you, but essentially it happened within you, isn't it? Yes? Did it happen only within you or was it in the air? I'm trying to clear this air.
Combination of both.
Really? It was in the air? No, it only happened within you. Maybe what was happening within you was so exuberant, you saw it everywhere. You're in love, you thought the flowers bloomed for you, the birds are singing for you, the clouds are moving for you. Huh?
real quick, Sadhguru, again, watching random videos on science stuff, I do remember an episode where they did talk about the pheromones in our sweat and stuff that we kind of give out. And I think they did a test where they had a whole bunch of men, they had that shirt on, they did some exercises and stuff, and then they put it in the container. And women smelt all of them, and some of them smelt something, I guess, that they like in certain clothes. And again, scientists are thinking like maybe there is something to it, like a pheromone. Like I think animals have pheromones. Yeah, absolutely, they do, because that's how certain animals can tell if it's the right time, or when they're ready or whatever. And I'm guessing we're roughly the same, and we kind of have it too.
All right.
So it's in the air a little
I
bit.
don't want to destroy all the romance, okay? But essentially it's happening within you. It's wonderful that you're experiencing such sweetness of emotion, stimulated by somebody. You are using the other person as a key to open up an experience within you, essentially. I'm asking you, why are you using a key when there is no lock, when there is no door, when there's no any kind of barrier? It is just that you are a push-start machine. You know what's a push-start machine? If you have owned an Ambassador 25 years ago, always you parked it on a gradient like this, because morning, two people have to push it. If you park it like this, nobody will come, your family will not come out of the house. If it's like this, somebody will come and push it. Now all the cars are self-start, many of them remote start. What does it mean? Technological upgradation. You are an institute of technology, all right? I'm asking, would you like to upgrade your technology that you are on self-start? If you wake up in the morning, you are overflowing with joy and love and exuberance by yourself. You don't need anybody to stimulate you. Would you like to be a self-start machine? Then you must come to me, huh? Whoever is right now doing the love in the air, it's fine with them, you don't have to tell them anything, you say, all right, it's okay. But it's very important you're a self-start machine, otherwise, after some time, you try to extract happiness from the other person. That is when these love affairs become tedious and horrible, because you're trying to extract happiness from the other person. No, life should be like this. When it comes to joy, when it comes to love, when it comes to exuberance of life, you must be the source of this, isn't it? You must be the source of this. Well, other things are shared in life. There are two ways to enter into a relationship. One way is because you want to extract something from somebody. Another way is because you want to share something with somebody. These are two ways. If you're out to share, your life will be good. If you're out to extract, when they close the tap, it's going to get terrible and nasty. You have seen people who thought they're absolute lovers, how terrible it becomes for many of them. Not because there's anything wrong with them, simply because you started off on the wrong footing, thinking, this person is the source of my joy. No, no, no. Joy or misery, the source is within you. Yes or no? Whether it's joy or misery, the source is within you. It's for you to decide. If you're a joyful human being, they will also want to be with you. If you're a misery, they will endure you for some time. Shall I tell you a joke? Are you okay?
Please, Sadhguru.
On a certain day,
Oh,
Shankaran
jeez.
Pillai was walking in a park in the evening, sunset time. He saw a young, pretty-looking woman sitting on a stone bench. You know the park benches? He also went and sat down, settled down on the same bench. After some time, he moved little closer. She moved little away. He allowed a few minutes and again moved little closer. She moved little away. Again he moved closer. Now there was nowhere else to go for her because she was at the end of the bench. She pushed him away. Then he waited for 2 minutes, just the sun to get to the right angle. Then he went down on his knees and he said, I love you. I love you like I have never loved anybody in my life. You know, a woman is a fool for love. And the sun was setting. If it was middle of the afternoon, she wouldn't believe a damn thing. Sun was setting, the ambience was right, and she kind of yielded. Nature took over, things happened between them. Then he looked at his watch, it was 8 o'clock in the evening. He got up and he said, I need to go, I need to go. She said, where are you going? You said you love me. He said, my wife is waiting, I need to go. So, I love you for a whole lot of people is like that, you know, open sesame. You want to get something, maybe your needs are physical, psychological, emotional, financial, social, or we don't know what else. You have needs to fulfill. So you use this mantra and it works. Half the time it works, okay? I'm saying it's important. It is important you know the joy of being loving, because sweetness of emotion is needed for you if you want to take really big steps in your life. If you do not have sweetness of love in your heart, believe me, if you try to take big steps in the world, particularly in India, you will end up frustrated and go to Canada. In Canada, you meet only moose in most of the countries, so it's okay.
So now I would like to open.
Okay, actually I'm gonna pause it right there. That's a pretty good time, I think. Roughly. Anyways, very interesting. I don't think he necessarily said anything too much that I need to talk about towards the end. Everything is pretty self-explanatory so far. I like the fact that he keeps... I can't remember if in the other videos if he's... if Sadhguru is always picked on one person, always. I know he has picked on one person a few times, and we have Mr. Canada guy over here being picked on all the time, which is kind of funny. And I love his Shankala Pillai stories, because I swear, when I was listening to Sadhguru's Karma book, he always brings up this person. I'm like, man, is this a real person or something? Like, but then whenever he starts talking about the stories, like, he explained that he came to America and he bought a whole bunch of stuff, and then he, you know, he got on a boat and crashed a boat out in the middle of in the ocean somewhere, and says, "Don't worry, I haven't paid my taxes yet. You know, the IRS are good at finding people. They'll find us soon enough." You know, I was like, okay. That's when I started questioning the reality of this person, because I don't know if it's real or not, and a lot of it was very plausible stories, especially whenever it didn't go to I guess a ridiculous nature of things, like, again, like the love story here, not out of the ordinary, you know, but whenever he started buying houses, buying boats, buying cars, buying all this, buying an island, it's like, okay, that's a bit much. Anyways, that's my reaction to, at least for part, was this 3 of Sadhguru at IIT Bombay. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down, down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.